The memory on the Pfaff Creative 3.0 sewing machine is called sequencing. And the area you want to go to combine decorative stitches together or combine letters is right here. See where it has the A and the heart and the B. So when you go here, if you've got anything on your screen, we're going to clear it out, but it's going to open up a green screen with nothing in it. At this point, you can put in any combination of stitches, and what you see will be exactly what it's going to sew. So for example, if we wanted to start off with a little flower and then add some leaves, when we go to sew, it will toggle between flower, leaves, flower, leaves, flower, leaves. If we wanted to add alphabets, we can do that. We'll do actually the lettering in a separate video, which you can click right up here and find all the lettering tricks of the tray. So if I just want to go ahead and sew, I can go ahead and touch the check mark and start to sew. So we'll start off with each stitch from the flower all the way to the leaf. Whatever's showing at the top is the area that it's currently stitching. And then of course, if you want to go ahead and touch the scissors while you're stitching, it'll finish the sequence and then do some locking stitches and then cut the thread and stop. So there's a couple different ways to do that finishing if you're interested. So how fun is that? What we have here is, let's say we want to save this combination. See the little folder at the top with the arrow pointing into it? You're going to have your personal menu number 6. There's actually 3 pages, 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3. So a total of 30 areas you could save items. So if you just touch the first grouping or first open area, it will save the stitch that you have. Now if we go back to sequencing, let's delete this. We're going to put in something else. We'll save it and let you see where we can go take a look at where that actually is. So if we go back to our main menu, we're in the menu 4 and 2. Floral and ornamental. Let's do something with mirror image. This is a fun one because as you see the pattern, it ends on the center needle position. And here's why that's actually kind of unique. Because if you actually mirror image it, it will actually, here's the mirror image. Oh, not the up and down, the left to right. It will connect itself and you'll find that it will have a continuous motion as it stitches. So let's go ahead. We'll stitch out one of those. I can tell I need a little stabilizer since those flowers didn't turn out perfect here. But I love the way this grouping just continues right on along. We'll touch the scissors, let it finish so we have an idea what it's going to look like. And there we go. The combinations are endless. So if we wanted to save this one, we can touch the little folder, pick the second open memory, and X out of it. So where have we been saving these? If we go over to our main menu, go all the way over to the last section, which is the heart, which is your favorites. This is your menu 6. Here's where you would have those 3 pages of stitches you've saved. The first one's where I was putting them. So if I just touch the first one, it'll pull it up and be ready to sew. Now another thing is eventually you might want to delete them. So let me show you that right now. If you touch the trash can, you'll see that a little green trash can shows on your screen and a new definition. Delete is active, touch any position to clear. So if I wanted to clear the first space, it double checks that I want to do that. Are you sure? Check mark, yes, I'm sure. And now I'm left with the other one. Again, I can do the trash can, delete this out, and now I have nothing in the memory. So whenever you want to combine items, I'm going to just use the trash can. If I touch and hold it, it will delete everything on screen, not just the last stitch. Let's do one more thing I want to show you about the way you can combine stitches. We'll just do some fun art stitches here. So whatever you put in, and you can put in more or less or fun stuff to go. Now if you just want 3 of these to stitch and then you want it to stop, you can have it stop, lock, and cut. And then that way it's pre-programmed to do those 3 features after it reaches the end of this 3rd stitch. You can also go back up and maybe even add something between these or even add a locking stitch at the beginning of this sequence. So that means it's going to start with some locking stitches, do the 3 stitches, lock it and cut it, and you can just push even the start stop button right here and just let it stitch. You don't even have to be paying attention because it's going to stop at the end of the sequence for you. So that's great more for the lettering part because you usually don't want the name to be repeated over and over. That's for one project. Usually you just want the name one time. So it repeats it, stops, locks, cuts, finishes. And that's what those extra symbols can do. The other thing that you can do with your decorative stitches is you can not only mirror image them, but you can also change their settings. So if you want one to not be as big as the default setting, maybe you want to make one of them longer. Whatever stitch is green or highlighted is the stitch that it's doing the alteration to. So if you want it all to be smaller and narrower, you're going to need to do it to each stitch within the memory. Then maybe you save it as a wide version and a small version. The possibilities are endless. And as you can see by all the stitches up above, you can combine multiple stitches to have every single different look that most people will say, hey, where's that stitch? And you can say, oh, I combined a couple stitches and look what it did. So once again, if you need to delete everything at once, touch and hold the trash can, touch the check mark, and you can see we're back to where we needed to be. And if you just go back to your main menu, if you're looking for your straight stitch, menu 1, stitch 1, and you can see you're completely out of the sequencing area.